In our world of brands and data, it's easy to forget that symbols once held true power. The power to determine life and death, to build empires, and to define the soul of a nation. If you've been drawn to the larger-than-life characters of Japanese anime and video games, you've seen their powerful, story-laden emblems. But have you ever wondered about the real-world inspiration behind them? The answer lies deep in Japan's history, and it is called the Kamon. The Kamon, Japan's family crest. It is far more than a heraldic proof of lineage like its European counterpart. It is a psychological portrait, a visual manifestation of a family's philosophy. It is not cold law, it is hot-blooded poetry. Over centuries, these designs witnessed a nation's journey from an obsessive worship of beauty to a century of brutal civil war, and from the ashes of that conflict, the building of a new world order. To understand the unique spirit of Bushido, that blend of elegance and violence, we must first learn to decipher these symbols. For the Kamon is the signature of the samurai soul, carved into the river of time. Our story begins a millennium ago in the Heian period, an era true to its name, peace and tranquility. Japan was then ruled by the court aristocrats of Kyoto, who lived in a waking dream of silk, poetry, and incense. In this world, power was demonstrated not by your ability to wield a sword, but by your ability to distinguish over 300 types of incense. Beauty was the only truth. They developed a unique, aesthetic sensibility, known as mono no aware, a deep, melancholic empathy for the transience of all things. The cherry blossom was beautiful precisely because it was doomed to fall. It was in this delicate incubator that the first Kamon were born. Aristocrats used natural patterns, wisteria, maple leaves, tortoiseshells, to distinguish their ox carriages from one another at flower viewing parties. The designs were elegant, harmonious, a perfect microcosm of their fragile world. Yet, this elegance was built upon a foundation they chose to ignore. In the provincial countryside, a warrior class was defending the court's right to compose poetry with their own blood. They were the samurai. Here lies one of history's great ironies. The creators of culture are rarely its wielders of force. When the authority of the court inevitably decayed, when violence became the only effective means of settling disputes, the balance of power began its decisive shift. In the 12th century, an epic civil war erupted, shattering the aristocrats' dream world. In the inferno of mud and blood, aesthetics became worthless. Recognition was everything. The meaning of the Kamon was rewritten forever. The swallowtail butterfly on a Taira clan helmet was no longer a spirit of nature, but a warrior's defiant embrace of death, a prayer that his soul would metamorphose and fly to a pure land. Their rivals, the Minamoto, stitched the resilient gentian flower onto their banners, a declaration that even in defeat, they, like the deeply rooted plant, would always grow back. An object of art born in peace was given a new soul by war. It learned to speak of loyalty, identity, and mortality. The age of the samurai had begun in blood and fire. By the 15th century, Japan had descended into its darkest and most legendary era, the Sengoku Jidai, the age of warring states. It was an age where Gekokujo, the low, overthrowing the high, was the norm. A vast arena of chaos where warlords tore each other apart. In this era, the Kamon became a warlord's calling card, a banner for his ambition. And ultimately, 3 giants would rise from this chaos. Their story is not 3 separate chapters, but a single, 3-act play on how to rebuild a nation. Their Kamon are the keys to their philosophies of power. First, the destroyer, Oda Nobunaga. He was an outlier, a revolutionary who scorned tradition. He was the first to embrace firearms from the West and was known for his ruthless efficiency. He burned the monastery on Mount Hiei, slaughtered his enemies, and called himself the demon king of the 6th heaven. His philosophy: to create a new world, you must first utterly destroy the old one. His crest, the Odamoko, became a symbol of this new, irresistible power. When it appeared on the horizon, it didn't signal a battle. It signaled a judgment. Nobunaga died by betrayal, and his dream was inherited by the most unlikely of men, Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Born a peasant, Hideyoshi rose to become the supreme ruler of Japan. But he faced a critical problem. He had no noble blood, no legitimacy. He needed a symbol more powerful than a sword. His solution was a masterstroke of political branding. He had the emperor, the nominal head of state, grant him use of the imperial Kiri crest. The Paulownia tree, legend said, was the only tree upon which the mythical phoenix would perch. The political implication was immense. It declared to all of Japan that this peasant's son was the ruler chosen by destiny. The Kamon became a tool for creating legitimacy out of thin air. After Hideyoshi's death, the nation again fell into turmoil. The man who ended it all was the patient strategist, Tokugawa Ieyasu. He was neither volatile like Nobunaga, nor flamboyant like Hideyoshi. He sought something more enduring, a permanent, infallible system. His crest, the Mitsuba Aoi, perfectly embodied this idea. It was simple, symmetrical, stable. For the next 260 years of the Edo period, its authority was absolute. It is said that samurai would not even eat sliced cucumber, because the pattern resembled the shogun's crest. Power was no longer personal, it was systematized. A simple emblem commanded the respect and fear of an entire society. Beneath the shadow of these giants, countless other warlords wrote their own legends with their Kamon. These were more intimate, more personal, the inner monologues of their souls. Takeda Shingen, the tiger of Kai, whose army followed the creed of as swift as the wind, as silent as the forest, as fierce as fire, as unmovable as the mountain. His crest, the Takeda Bishi, 4 interlocking diamonds, was a visual representation of that final principle. It embodied his military philosophy. The Takeda clan was a fighting collective, a fortress of loyalty with their lord at its core, as unmovable as the mountain. His lifelong rival, Uesugi Kenshin, the dragon of Echigo, was a devout Buddhist who saw himself as the avatar of the war god Bishamonten. His crest of bamboo and sparrows is full of Zen-like paradox. The bamboo bends in the fiercest storm but does not break, symbolizing resilience. The sparrows, though seemingly weak, find strength in unity. The crest reflects the inner conflict and balance of a commander who possessed godlike military prowess yet strived for Buddhist compassion. But for the ultimate expression of the samurai spirit, none can match the Sanada clan. Famed for launching lethal strikes from desperate situations, their Kamon was the Rokumonsen, the 6 coins. In Buddhist belief, 6 coins was the precise fare a soul paid to cross the river of the underworld. To adopt this as a family crest was the ultimate psychological statement. It announced to the world, we, the samurai of the Sanada, fight without fear, for we have already paid our fare to the next life. Every battle is a one-way journey. How do you defeat a warrior who has already embraced his own death? In the late 19th century, Western gunships ended Japan's isolation. The age of the samurai was over. Their swords were confiscated, their class abolished. The Kamon, a product of this feudal age, seemed destined for the ash heap of history, but it wasn't. The life force of a symbol is more resilient than the era that creates it. On the one hand, it returned to its roots, becoming a private mark of family lineage. At traditional ceremonies today, weddings, funerals, it is still worn with pride, an invisible thread connecting a modern Japanese individual to ancestors from centuries ago. On the other hand, it was reborn in the modern world in a stunning way. The samurai spirit, its discipline, its strategy, its obsession with honor percolated into the new business elite. The Mitsubishi logo is the prime example. It is a fusion of its founder's samurai family crest and that of his former feudal lord. The samurai virtues of loyalty to a lord and responsibility to the clan were masterfully translated into the corporate values of quality and trust for the customer. The soul of the warrior did not vanish. It simply put on a business suit. The story of the Kamon is an epic, highly condensed. It reveals a profound truth. The power of a symbol lies not in its lines, but in the desire, ambition, fear, and faith that a people pour into it over centuries. And so, the next time we gaze upon these designs that span a millennium, we are seeing more than just historical artifacts. We are seeing the undying echo of a nation's soul. If you had to design your own family crest, what would you choose? A. A powerful animal, like a tiger or an eagle. B. A graceful plant, like cherry blossoms or bamboo. C. An abstract geometric pattern. D. Something completely different. Leave your choice in the comments below. I'd love to see your ideas. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next story from Japan's history.